Hey Internet, if you're watching this, you probably want to run a marathon. Lucky for you, I just ran the Philadelphia Marathon this past year in 2014. Today, I put together a list of 9 tips that helped me get through my marathon training, and hopefully it will get you through yours. Let's take a look. The first tip I have is to make a plan and stick to it. This plan is so important. For my marathon, I used the Higdon Novice 2 program. You can just look it up on the internet. Most marathon plans run to about from 16 to 20 weeks. Each plan differs depending on intensity, mileage, different types of workouts, cross-training, etc. You should plan to run at least 4 days a week and cross-train maybe 1 or 2 of those days, but make sure you rest. For my marathon, I laid out an Excel spreadsheet that had each day of the week leading up to my marathon, and then I had what I was supposed to do that day, and then I marked down what I actually did. I really recommend this because you can go home after each workout or each run and mark down what you did, and then in the end you get to see everything you did. Next, one of the most important steps is to go out and get yourself a good pair of running shoes. If you can, find a professional in your area that can help you get fitted up properly for a good pair of shoes. There's nothing worse than getting a blister whenever you're 10 miles out on a long run. It's not fun. It was also recommended to me to get 2 pairs of shoes so you could let your feet breathe a little bit and get adjusted to different shoes. Also, if it comes race day and one of your shoes breaks the day before, that's not good. You need to already have another pair of shoes worn in. My main pair was the Ravenna 5s. I used these during my main runs. And then also these are Asics GT 2000s. Keep in mind that each shoe fits each runner differently. Next, I recommend going online, finding a race in your area, and signing up. That will give you one less excuse to not run. And trust me, excuses become very plentiful. Keep in mind that a lot of marathons fill up months before the start date, so I recommend at least signing up 3 months in advance. Your plan will most likely be at least a 4-month plan, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. Next, you're going to want a way to track how far you're going and how long you're going. I recommend finding an app on your phone such as Runkeeper or Map My Run. I used Map My Run a lot. Or get a GPS watch. For example, I got the Garmin Forerunner 10. This is a great watch and I recommend it. With both the Map My Run and Garmin, I know that you could pull up all your workouts on the computer, so it's really neat to see all of your progress. The next tip I have is to train like you race. Depending on the type of weather during the race, you're going to want to train differently. For example, if your race is at the end of December, you're going to want to make sure you're training with some more warm weather clothing. You can't change anything on race day. Look at what kind of nutrition the race has to offer. The Philadelphia Marathon had Cliff Shot gels, so I made sure during my long runs I bought some of them and trained with them so I knew what to expect during the actual marathon. As far as clothing's concerned, go out and get a non-cotton shirt. Something of this material would be nice, some kind of Under Armour type material. Go out and get yourself a good pair of running pants. They might look kind of weird because they're so short. Trust me, in the long runs it pays off not to have to carry all that weight. Also, go out and get a pair of running socks. These are non-cotton socks. They try to wick away any moisture and they prevent blisters. Next, I recommend researching your race. For example, looking up on tips to run a marathon. Those are great ways to prepare. As with any kind of sport, you gotta make sure you stay healthy. For me, this involved making sure I stretched before bed, especially whenever it came close to the marathon. I had to stay stretched out all the time. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure you drink a lot of water. You're going to be losing a lot of fluids during those runs. And even though there were times whenever I would just eat whatever I want and every meal would be a Thanksgiving dinner, you have to be careful what you eat, especially the day before your long run. I had a couple days where I ate fast food the day before, and I definitely felt it during my long run. It's not fun at all. A lot of sites will recommend that you run a half marathon before your race. I didn't. I kind of skipped that rule, and I ran a half marathon 2 weeks after my full marathon, but it definitely can't hurt to run a half marathon beforehand. This will kind of be a trial run as far as how the actual marathon will go. Sometime during your training, you're going to want to go on Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media and tell everyone that you're running a marathon. You'll find that running is one of the few things that you'll be able to talk to people about. When you tell people about your marathon, it's going to be more difficult to quit. They're going to hold you to it. Also, like you're doing here, try to find people who have already run marathons. These people will be able to offer great tips. The last tip I have is you're going to want to motivate and remind yourself about your marathon. First, I recommend during your runs, listen to some music. It really helps you get through some of those hard hills. Next, make notes to yourself. For example, I said I'm not going to have Five Guys or Panda Express like 2 months or 1 month before the marathon. It also helped me to write down some motivational quotes. Go online and just type in motivational quotes or inspirational quotes. Lastly, the biggest motivation that helped me is to go on YouTube and look up motivational video. Some movies included the Rocky movies and Miracle, and just go on YouTube and look up motivational or inspirational video, or type in running motivational video. I'm sure something great will come up. Even go on YouTube and listen to some other people's stories about their first marathons and struggles that they faced. All of this will really help calm your nerves as it gets closer to race day. Well, that's all the tips I have for today. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. Also, if we have anyone training for the Pittsburgh Marathon, I might be running that. Leave a comment. That's all I have for today. Good luck in training for your first marathon. You're gonna do great.